Okay, I'll admit it. I'm a history nut, especially when it comes to horses.
You know, here on the walls of the Fox Trotter Museum are images going back nearly 50 years. But the history of the Missouri Fox Trotting Horse goes back a whole lot further.
The story of this breed is tied to the story of the Missouri Ozarks, the rugged hill country of southern Missouri. Missouri was admitted to the Union in 1821, becoming the 24th state. Pioneers who crossed the Mississippi River to settle in the Ozarks were mostly from Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. They brought with them a variety of horses: draft horses, race horses, and an all-purpose gaited riding horse commonly called simply the American horse. In Kentucky, this type of horse eventually became the American saddle horse, what we now call the saddlebred. In Tennessee, selective breeding produced the Tennessee walking horse. But in Missouri, the American horse became the Missouri Fox Trotting Horse. These easy riding breeds mostly evolved around their gaits, and it was the shuffling 4-beat diagonal gait known as the foxtrot that was most useful in the rocky hills of the Ozarks. The foxtrot is most often described as walking with the front legs and trotting with the back legs. In a standard 2-beat trot, diagonally opposed legs move together. The horse hops from one pair of legs to the other. Horse and rider tire quickly when trotting. But the foxtrot is a broken trot. The diagonals hit the ground slightly out of sync. At least one foot is always on the ground, making it easier for horse and rider to go long distances. The Missouri Fox Trotting Horse became an actual breed in 1948. It became the breed of choice for United States forest rangers in 1960. And in 2002, it became the official state horse of Missouri. Over the years, more than 90,000 horses have been registered. The highlight of the year for foxtrotter aficionados is the show and celebration, the 7-day World Championship competition. It takes place every September at the breed's national headquarters, a beautiful 130-acre showground in Ava, Missouri. There is no better time or place to learn about the Missouri Fox Trotting Horse. I thought I would start with one of the largest breeders, Valley Springs Foxtrotters of Black, Missouri, owned by George and Joanne Becker, a couple that everybody told me was very special.
Well, Joanne, let me ask you a question about the Missouri Fox Trotting breed. You and George have one of the largest farms. You have one of the biggest herds of Missouri Fox Trotters out there. Why this particular breed?
Well, you know, the thing about the Fox Trotters, they have such a great disposition. Very, very easy to train. I used to work with quarter horses, and to me, there's just no comparison. The Fox Trotters are real willing. The more you do with them, the better they are. We do everything with ours. We've run barrels. We do lots and lots of trail riding. They're just very versatile, and we find that they're just very, very easy to work with.
Now, George, let me ask you something about your particular breeding program. Are you trying to campaign a particular bloodline? Is there a stallion, for instance, or a group of stallions that you're trying to promote with your herd?
No, we've been in it long enough to know what matches better than other times, and so we kind of will breed with those certain mares or the certain stud. But we breed for more disposition and the gait and the natural gait, so we don't have to be working all the other devices to get them to work. So we don't push any major stud or nothing, no.
Now, you mentioned something about the gait. I know that, as with many breeds, the gait kind of evolves over the years, and there's kind of the old-style Missouri Fox Trotting gait, and there's kind of some of the newer-style gaits. What is it that you like the gait so much? Where do you fall in there?
We like more the natural gait. We're more specified with the trail horses. And the old-time foxtrot, which is the ones that kept the tracks, now they go a little bit over. We like horses that have a lot of rhythm and a lot of athletic ability.
Mm-hmm. Now, George, I want to ask you in particular about another aspect of what you're doing there. Besides breeding these horses, you're using them, I think, for a very noble cause in helping troubled youth. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been working for 37 years with the troubled boys. And we use the horses a lot we do wagon trains with them, we do horse therapy where they all get trail ride, It's a very good self-esteem builder for the kids, because our kids come with no self-esteem whatsoever, and it really does help them to adjust better, to learn how to trust people and how to trust the animals. So it's a very unique program we do, but it's very effective.
Wow. And you started this actually up in Minnesota and then came to Missouri, correct?
Yeah, I had a home up there for 10 years and had the horse program there too, but did all quarter horses there.
Well, what made you switch over to Missouri Fox Trotters?
Joanne and I did a wagon train in Minnesota for crippled children fundraiser, and we rode fox trotters, and everybody up there rode quarter horses, and people were just astounded how we could ride 40 miles a day, and we wouldn't be sore when we got done with the 40 miles, and then everybody wanted to buy a fox trotter, and we had a hard time finding good, honest ones, so that's when we decided to start raising them.
Well, so many people are interested. You two have been married about 17 years. So many people are interested in how folks met. Tell a little bit about how you met.
Well, we both live, I lived in Lesterville, which is down towards Black, and had a campground, horseback riding down there and canoe rental. And when George moved, he had some horses also. And in '85, they had a wagon train up in Minnesota that they needed a lot of extra help. And so George asked if I would be willing to help. And I went up there and had a blast. We had a great time.
So you had fun with the horses, and was it love at first sight?
No, it was friendship first.
Oh, good. Well, that's the best way to go. When you guys started out, now you have hundreds. I'm not going to say how many hundred, but you have hundreds of Missouri Fox Trotters. Did you set out to have that big a herd, or how did it grow to be so large?
No, we never started out to be that big. It just kind of happened. It was a stress reliever when we first started doing it, and it just got to be a bigger and bigger operation.
Well, fantastic. Well, you're a cool couple. You're doing something you love. You're doing it together, and you're doing a lot of good for a lot of folks. My guests have been Joanne and George Becker. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Well, as with any breed, the training of the Missouri Fox Trotting Horse is a specialty, and I have with me two full-time trainers of the Fox Trotter. On your right is Mike Rutledge. On your left is David Ogle. Mike, I'll start with you. What makes the Foxtrot gait? Tell me a little bit about how that gait works.
Well, the Fox Trotters is a very unique gait. They're really the only gaited horse that has a diagonal gait. Most of them have a lateral gait to them. So what the Foxtrot is, they're still walking with their front. It's a two-beat, but they're trotting in the back end. And what it does, instead of a jar like a lot of your stock horses would have, or I compare it to sitting in a glider chair. Instead of bouncing, you're going back and forth in the saddle. So it makes it a real smooth, enjoyable ride, and it covers a lot of ground. I mean, it's a ground covering gait.
These horses, I've never heard of a horse being desirable for him to be on the front end. Of course, with most stock horses and dressage horses and everything, you're always talking about collection, getting them back on the haunches and so forth. This breed, you want them somewhat on the front end, right?
Right, that's correct. I mean, especially when they're trotting, I mean, you want them to, you'll feel them kind of drop down on that bit on the front end, in order for the back end to come up and start trotting.
And let me ask you about bits. Traditionally, in a lot of other breeds, you train a horse in a snaffle, you get him up to a certain point, you take him into a curb bit. Is it that same kind of thing in the Fox Trotter?
We tend to use a little different. We use aluminum bits a lot in Fox Trotters, a lighter bit. And what I like to use is anywhere from a 3-inch shank to maybe a 4-inch. Maybe go to a 6-inch. I don't really like to go any longer. That the 9-inch is the limit. You can't go over that. We do ride in a lot of snaffle bits. We always start them in snaffle. And sometimes if we just want to freshen their mouth up, we'll put them in a snaffle bit and just turn them loose.
Now, David, something that's been on my mind as I watch all these riders out here, I see a lot of different styles, shall we say, of equitation. What's the correct way to ride a Missouri Fox Trotter?
In the show ring, what you're looking for is, your seat down in the saddle, back relatively straight, not stiff, you're relaxed but straight, elbows bent at a 45-degree angle with your hands out in front of you, and your head straight up, basically looking through that horse's ears. And that's kind of what you're looking for. You know, you're really looking for a balanced look. We ride a longer stirrup than a quarter horse. You know, we want our legs relatively straight, but not hanging and dangling, because you don't want to stand up in the saddle with these horses. I feel like as a rider, I'm part of the picture of that horse, and that's what I try to do, is just present the best picture possible.
So are you showing tonight?
I'm not. The trainers are off tonight, but our amateurs will be showing tonight. They'll be going for their World Grand Championships.
And what about you?
And we're coming to try to knock him off tonight.
All right. Well, I love that healthy competition. Well, I'll let you guys get back to work. Thank you for both being with us today.
Thank you.
That evening in Ava, Missouri, it rained, as it had for several days before. But the spirits of the competitors weren't dampened. The organ music of Charles Ritchie is a great tradition at the celebration, and while the organ kept the beat, all that hard work paid off. One thing I could see for sure, Foxtrotter folks love their horses. They love to ride them, and they love to show them. It's been that way for a very long time. The Missouri Fox Trotter's versatility, temperament, and most of all, its smooth four-beat gait have made it one of America's most beloved breeds. I don't suppose that's ever going to change.
Now we should bring it back, please.